excited like me to get to delve into the psychology of Jinx and possibly her redemption arc, you can let me know if you agree with the psychology and my predictions and hopes for season 2 of Arcane. What happens when you have done something so abhorrent, so horrible, where everything that people thought about you, everything that you thought about yourself seems to be coming to fruition? Sometimes we can end up becoming our own self-fulfilling prophecies, where we have all of that negative self-talk, the things that people have said to us. Sometimes we actually give up on ourselves. We figure that if everyone believes this about us, why don't we just become that? And sometimes we are in so much pain and so much heartbreak, it wipes out the part of our brain that deals with consequences to actions. That's what happens when we're really mad or really anxious. Often we're not paying attention. People have actually gone through situations where they completely blank out. They don't even remember what they've done. And that doesn't mean that you're not responsible for your actions. You still have to take responsibility for what you do. And in this case, we don't know how much of Jinx was aware of what she was doing, how much she actually planned for this to happen. Sometimes we're just so angry at the world, we want to be able to be seen, and sometimes we do horrible things in order to have that happen. A lot of times, especially when you deal with childhood trauma, you don't develop through all of the same milestones that other people do. So sometimes you're dealing with someone that might be of an adult age, but emotionally, they're still a child.
Never thought I'd catch you blubbering. Wonder if Silco even saw that.
Twice. When he met me, and when I killed him.
She says it in a defiant way, in a way that I don't care. And I think that for Jinx, it isn't that she doesn't care, it's that she doesn't want to care. It hurts so much. All of these consequences, all of these horrible things that she's done. And in the cases of Vander and Silco, they weren't purposeful behaviors, but now she has done something purposeful. And that thought that, is anyone beyond redemption? Can you do something that goes too far where you no longer ever deserve forgiveness? I think that that's a question more of morality than it is of psychology, because it also goes into, can you forgive yourself? And often when we do things that are horrible, that's the difficult part as well. It's not just the wanting forgiveness from everyone else, but also what is that relationship to ourselves? What are the voices inside of our head saying? And for Jinx, she is often haunted by all of the voices of those that she's hurt, those that she's damaged, that are either by mistake or by her actions. The little creature, I don't know what his name is, he's adorably cute. I think that he's the one that's inside of one of the mechs later. His reaction to that, the horror of that just goes to prove our own negative self-talk, that voice of she has done things that are so horrible that even people that are attacking her are shocked by her actions. Oh yes, Savika. Like, come on. Of course she's there to kind of change the tides, to be able to save her. Even though she didn't really trust Jinx before, she's still that loyal person that's going to save her for perhaps Silco or perhaps for her own motivations. Maybe she sees something in Jinx that even Jinx doesn't see in herself.
Topside is the real enemy. You have the chance to rally the Undercity together. You're a symbol.
That's the thing, is that when society's thrown you away, when everyone looks at you as a monster, when you've been abandoned by everyone, that creates such a deep wound inside of yourself. And you saw her when she was young, having panic attacks from being abandoned, even just left alone. But then to be able to go from this monster to be able to be a beacon of light, something that people believe in, that can rally, that can care about you, that can cheer you on, that's such a healing feeling. For many people that have been abandoned, that want of affirmation from others, of validation in our beliefs, in being looked up to and loved and cared about, that can be a really addictive feeling. And for a lot of people, they want that fame, that adoration from wherever it could be. And that can be something that becomes an addiction and can be also unhealthy, because the thing is that you're only as good as when you're on top. But that feeling of dropping off or at the end of the event or when people have moved on to something else can be devastated. And so you're constantly chasing that high. I think that for Jinx, though, it's that chance to be something else. You see that picture of her with Vander in the background, her other father, a symbol of something else, to be able to rally Piltover to fight for something different. And it's interesting because that can also start to change your own inner voice. It doesn't always, though. Sometimes we end up having it just be these extrinsic things from the outside that are saying good things. But the problem is when we don't hear that, we go back to whatever is our own negative self-talk or whatever we've been practiced the most in saying to ourselves. And so that's the problem, is that you end up having to constantly be on top, constantly want affirmation and attention from everyone that's around you. And when it goes away, you're left again alone with your own voices, which is often, especially in Jinx's case, still negative. That fear that I could be still a monster.
So what are you planning?
To watch it all burn.
And that want when you're so angry, when you feel betrayed by everyone around you, to want to just burn everything down and hurt those that hurt you, it damages us just as it damages everyone else around us. And so you really want to be careful if you get stuck in these feelings of anger or jealousy, because it is that poison that you have yourself drink and hope that other people die. And that second of seeing that little child, I do think that that child is a young Jinx. Now, again, we can kind of have that debate of is it or isn't it, but she has the same armband that Jinx carries. We can kind of go through what it was like when Vander and Savika were working together, and Savika might have also been taking care of Jinx, and that might be one of the reasons of why it might be Savika who comes to her rescue. There might be more to this relationship than we know. So then we see Jinx watching Vi. And I think that in this case, it is not Vi's hallucination, because we're not seeing it from Vi's point of view. I think that Jinx has been keeping an eye on her sister. Perhaps it's still sisterly love, or maybe even some sort of empathy, or perhaps Jinx is enjoying watching Vi suffer for her actions, and perhaps feeling a certain amount of retribution because of that. In my heart, I hope that at first she's angry and watching Vi, but over time she starts to feel empathy and love for her sister suffering, that they might still have disagreements, but because Jinx has been there before, that she knows what it's like being alone, being looked at, losing everything, being stuck in your own self-hatred and pity and anger and desolation. Empathy is different than sympathy. Sympathy is, I feel bad for you, or poor you. Empathy is, I understand what you could be going through because I've been through something similar before, that I may not fully understand it, but I'm here and I can help you out of it. And it's a different feeling of, instead of looking above someone, you're there with them. And so in my heart, that's what I hope that they're going through. I really hope so. They still don't agree. They're still upset at each other, but there's a certain amount of care that also happens.
Jinx!
Finally got the name right. Sister.
And from their hair, it looks like, because Vi's hair is still red and Jinx still has her braids, which seem to be cut off later, and she has a different look to it and different colors in her hair, that this is after Act 1. And that's what I hope happens, that they have this fight. My thoughts is that even though they fight, that in the end, Vi protects Jinx. And then when Vi ends up fighting Warwick, Jinx is there to be able to protect her sister as well. And that rebonds them, because I think that that makes their entire story become full circle. That was Vander's death that pulled them apart, but also them defending themselves against Warwick that pulls them back together. And I think that if Jinx is the one that is defending Piltover against Ambessa's army, that they can all align together to be able to fight as one to save Piltover. And yes, maybe they fight later and that's why they break up. Okay, fine, but give it to me, please. Because I think that that's so important, that we learn that really that familial bond, that sisterhood, that even if we have disagreements and we fight, we can still find common ground and the greater good.
Then stop me.
And that final image of Jinx being defiant and fighting, I'm hoping that that's not the final kind of chapter, but that might be the thing that had pulled apart Vi and Caitlin, that need for Caitlin to get retribution for the death of perhaps her mother and everyone in the council. So we'll have to kind of take a look together, but that is my hope for Jinx, that we end up with her having her own redemption arc, because I think that in all of us, we deserve to be able to have that as our own arc as well. If you want to be perfect, or maybe not perfect, but create your own redemption arc and develop your own inner confidence, you can get close to that goal by expanding your mind and yourself with today's sponsor, Brilliant.org. Learn, enhance, grow with Brilliant's ever-expanding set of new courses. Brilliant makes college-level courses, and they're available to help you become smart as a whip. Each course is designed for high-velocity learning to help you stay focused and to reach your goals and not be the last one to the battle. And Brilliant makes learning like a game with fun features that help you challenge yourself, compete with others, so it never gets boring. And we also know that when learning is fun and engaging, it makes the knowledge stick better, so you remember more easily and quickly. And Brilliant has thousands of lessons. They have math, chemistry, physics, engineering, computer science, data programming, and there's always new courses being added monthly. Might start learning how to code, who knows? All you have to do is practice 15 minutes a day. Yes, that is it. You do that and you will start to learn a new skill, and no one can tell me that they don't have 15 minutes to be able to enhance themselves. That's how I did their course on logic, where I got to construct critical thinking skills that are the basis of mathematical reasoning. It was fun and interactive, and the best part is that for me as a hands-on visual learner, I got to learn at my own pace, but also I got to see everything, and that made it stick so much better for me. And if you're still not sure, and you want to help out my channel, why don't you just jump in and try everything, I said it, everything Brilliant has to offer for free for a full 30 days, a month. Just head on over right now to brilliant.org/Georgia Dow or click on the link in the description. And if you love it, which I think you will, then you can also use that link to get 20% off of an annual premium subscription. So just click on the button on the screen or head on over to brilliant.org/Georgia Dow. Clicking on that button really does help out my channel. So thank you so much to Brilliant, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. So those are some of my hopes for Jinx in Arcane Season 2 and some of the predictions of how I kind of chopped up the trailer in hopes that this will be the storyline. You can let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below.